Tonight on PhillyCAM Voices, we have a segment on the Philadelphia Orchestra HEAR Initiative. Also, one on the intersection of homelessness and missing persons. And another on the 28th anniversary of freedom for Pennsylvania historical exoneree Vincent Moto. And an in-studio interview with the co-chairs of the Philadelphia Reparations Task Force. I'm your host, and welcome to PhillyCAM Voices. I'm your host, Chinchila Jonesia. The Philadelphia Orchestra is known for entertaining people in concerts and concert halls at the Kimmel Center and other important venues around the city and the world. Reporters Tim Milloway and Tom Coyle outside the concert hall, where orchestra members are also making a big impact on families and individuals in the city of Philadelphia.
Have you ever heard music touch your soul in a way that changes your entire day? Well, that's exactly what the Philadelphia Orchestra's HEAR Initiative is doing to Philadelphians all around the city. We got a glimpse of what the Philadelphia Orchestra is doing outside the concert hall.
All right, so the HEAR Initiative was developed by the Philadelphia Orchestra about 7 or 8 years ago to have a very intentional focus on health, education, access, and resources. So in the design of all of our music education programs, we want to make sure that we are first taking care of the health and wellness of all of our students, of course providing them with quality music education, eliminating any barriers that they have to music and to the performing arts in general, and to providing resources not only for our students but to our artistic and community partners. The H in the HEAR of our HEAR initiative is our music therapy program that we operate out of Broad Street Love, formerly known as Broad Street Ministry. So we go in with our music therapists and musicians of the Philadelphia Orchestra who are trained to do this work because it is bona fide therapy. We are working specifically with the unhoused population. And so you kind of get the full scope of issues. I mean, in Philadelphia, there are a lot of quality of life issues. A lot of times, the things that we cannot say and express to people, we can do so through music. And so no experience with instruments is needed. You can come in, you can pick up a drum, a guitar, some maracas, and kind of just talk and release those emotions and those experiences through the making of music. The second key component is that education piece where we are providing high quality music education programs. So the school ensemble program that we run at Kip West Preparatory Charter School in West Philadelphia, where a lot of families in that neighborhood are living at or below the poverty line in our city. It was started about 7 years ago as a pilot to see what happens when you fuse music education into the core curriculum. And so we started off with just a strings program. And here we are about 7 years later. We have a full orchestra. They have a jazz band that's called the Bounce Band. But our student musicians there play everything from classical music to jazz to hip hop.
I play the bass guitar, and then I just started trombone recently.
I play the trombone. Well, I told her that I wanted to play a string instrument, and she said I should play the cello. Then after playing it, I fell in love with it.
So it's like proof positive that, again, fusing music education into the core curriculum is key. They all perform well in their other subject areas as well. There's decades and decades of research that shows why arts education is beneficial.
So once I got into music, I started off at school, then we got into the honors program, which is coming to school early in the mornings to do our classes, our lessons and things like that. And I feel like as well with the program, it also inspired me to programs outside of the school.
I would say that this program has been like the epiphany in my life for like middle school for sure, because it's given me like leeway to like see who Brooklyn is.
I would definitely say that this program opens up lots and lots and lots of opportunities for its students.
The access component is our way of eliminating any barriers that people will have to the art that we make here on our main stages and in the community. So we have a program called Sound All Around, where families can come with their toddlers and learn about each instrument. Another program of access that we have is our school concert program. And students in the school district of Philadelphia get to attend for free. And they come in and they look up and they see our glass dome and they go, wow. Or you hear like, I've been here before, or this is just amazing. I've never seen a place so nice, or these are the fanciest bathrooms I've ever seen. So that's the initial experience. Resources, opportunities for their students to see and experience music. The greatest gift that we have is these amazing performances that we put on our main stages, but also world-class artists. Our donors are amazing. They help us buy these instruments to put into the students' hands. But it's like, what are we helping our students do with that gift? How are we helping them to understand that yes, you can make a living playing music, which is important for them to know, but also what can you say through this art form to help yourself or to help students like you?
My goal as a musician is to be a soloist for a major orchestra and to score in a movie.
I would love, 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 love to study abroad. That's like one of my biggest dreams, like to go to Japan and anywhere else that like can open me up to new experiences.
These programs really show people who the Philadelphia Orchestra is, like who we are at our core, what we care about, what we value, what drives the music that we make on our main stages. And I think it's so important for people to know that our musicians, like yes, their full-time job is to play on the main stage in Verizon Hall or what will soon be Marian Anderson Hall, but they are not made to do music therapy or any of our education programs. They sign up to do it. And it tells you the type of people that we're working with, that they care not only about sharing the joy of music, but they care about our city in a very deep way.
Reporter Shirley Carter speaks to Malin Davis about the correlation between homelessness and missing persons.
The audio is not running. Tell that the audio is not running. The audio of the video is not running. Mm-hmm.
No audio.
I am terribly sorry for the technical difficulties, but now we're back up and rolling. Next, Vincent Moto spent 10 and a half years behind bars after being wrongfully convicted. He was the first person to be exonerated in the state of Pennsylvania through the use of DNA. Vincent has been fighting for a compensation bill for exonerated people for over 2 decades. As a matter of fact, 28 years to be exact. Let's see what Vincent has to say. Pennsylvania is only one of 12 states that do not compensate the men and women they've wronged. Although these men and women have been exonerated, they have not been compensated. Compensation for the wrongfully convicted can never give them back the years they've lost because there is no dollar amount that is more valuable than the precious commodity of time. Vincent Moto lost the prime years of his life, and all that precious time lost can never, ever, and will never, ever be regained. July 23, 2024 will mark the 28th year of freedom for Pennsylvania historical exoneree Vincent Moto.
I was sentenced to 12 and a half to 25 years.
Good morning, gentlemen. Ladies.
Mr. Moto was the
my name is
first
Vincent
to be
Moto.
exonerated through the use of DNA.
I was wrongfully incarcerated for 10 and a half years for a crime I did not commit.
I was devastated when they let the guy go. I mean, why is it that this guy had committed this heinous crime, rapes? He actually raped these women. And he got to walk. He actually went home with his family.
We're going to go knock on these senators' doors because they have not returned my phone call, and I am upset about that. So we're making a house call, surprise visit today. Senate Judiciary Chair Lisa Baker has not yet returned any of my phone calls, nor was she available to speak with us when we visited her office in Harrisburg, but we did make sure our names were in her registry.
I got post-traumatic stress syndrome. Post-traumatic usually comes from war or traumatic things that happen in your life. I can't get rid of that. It's not a common cold. You know, how do I recuperate? I'm seeing a psychiatrist. I haven't worked since I was 22 because that's when they locked me up, put me away. When I got out, I asked to get my record expunged after DNA proved, being the first ever to use DNA in Pennsylvania, proved that I was innocent. The district attorney stood up and said, well, I still believe he's guilty. I don't care what the DNA says. And they wouldn't expunge my record. I'm just hoping that they will eventually pass a compensation bill for the guys. We're not talking about for anybody dudes that committed crimes. We're talking about people that were stripped of their livelihood. That's it, you know?
Yeah, and you're right. I mean, and it's like you said, that who could oppose that idea? And it really is mind-boggling.
Tell everybody how long you have been fighting for a compensation bill in the state of Pennsylvania.
Well, I was released in July of 1996, so ever since then. This process I've been doing for a long time, and I'm tired. I'm really tired. And I'm tired of doing interviews. I'm tired of talking to people, telling my story. You took 10 and a half years out of my life. You destroyed my life. My dad's passed now. My mom has seizures. I mean, I'm 100% disabled. I have post-traumatic stress syndrome. I think this might be my last interview because I'm tired. They know they should compensate me. They destroyed my life. They destroyed my children's life. They destroyed everything. But this is what I'm going through. I'm tired of doing this. It's just sad because I've been fighting all these years. Do the juror know that these people that put me away destroyed my life? Do they know anything about I'm home, struggling, trying to get my life in order after they screwed my life up? Am I supposed to just accept this and go on with life? Or am I supposed to take and get justice in my own hands and start making them held accountable for what they did to me and my children and my family? My parents spent over $160,000 on lawyer fees, their retirement. I hate telling the world about how bad I'm doing in life when I shouldn't be. I shouldn't be going through this. I pray all the time, Lord, help me from turning to a bad person and going to handle things like I should have did a long time ago. And no one is listening to me until you take justice in your own hands.
But now what would that justice be, though, Mr. Moto?
Whatever it may be. The same pain I've been through. I've been locked in a hole in the ground for years. Taken away from my family. Taken away from my children. How do you? Yeah, that's a good question. How do you make people pay for what they did? And they know that I'm innocent.
Right.
That's what's the bother. You caught the dude and you let him go. How much respect is that for me and my family? My whole family is living this nightmare that I'm living when these people sitting up here playing games with my life. And I'm really getting upset right now. I need to really get up and get some air.
Wow. Well, everybody, that was Pennsylvania Historical Exoneree Vincent Moto. He's gotten very emotional and upset and angry, reliving the 10.5 years of hell that he's gone through. Not just the 10.5 years of wrongful incarceration behind bars that he went through, but the continued hell that he has experienced since his exoneration 28 years ago. July 23rd, 2021, Vincent Moto was honored and recognized as Pennsylvania's historical exoneree by State Representative Virginia Young and the House of Representatives. Representative Young was the first legislator to introduce a compensation bill. Although it has not been voted on the floor yet, it is still in judiciary. If you would like to see justice served for exonerees, please contact your state representatives and your state senators in the state of Pennsylvania. And even if you're out of the state or out of the country, please still write, call, and email the legislators in Pennsylvania. Urge them, demand that they pass an exoneration compensation bill.
I wasn't expecting this. Thank you so much. Wow, this really, I want to say, this should go to my mom, because my mom, if it wasn't for her, I'd probably still be sitting behind bars. She's my everything.
It's time for Pennsylvania to right the wrong. It's time for Pennsylvania to not just exonerate, but also to compensate. I'm Dr. Chinchila J., PhillyCAM Voices. It is time for Pennsylvania to right the wrong and compensate exonerees. I'd like to welcome to our studio reporter Caroline Suarez, who will be speaking to Brianna Moore and Rayshawn Williams, co-chairs of the Philadelphia Reparations Task Force.
Thank you, Chinchila. In the middle of this May, Philadelphia City Council members Janie Gaither and Kendra Brooks launched the Philadelphia Reparations Task Force, announced after she introduced the measure 1 year ago. The task force will advise the government in every level on how to best atone for its role in chattel slavery, Jim Crow, and institutional racism. To get more details about this historical process, Voices invited two co-chairs, Brianna Moore and Rayshawn Williams, to join us tonight. So welcome
Thank
to
you for having us.
PhillyCAM and to Voices. So Brianna, we would like to introduce a brief context for maybe some people who didn't know that this reparation task force is running right now. Let them know when it started, or which are the aims or the objectives of this initiative, of this policy, and who is involved also.
Yes, thank you so much for having us. I want to applaud PhillyCAM for shining lights on reparations tonight, and also the segment that you all just showed for Brother Vincent. That was so important, and I pray that he's able to get compensation, and that's something that the Philadelphia Reparations Task Force will be advocating for as well. And so similar to what you said in your opening, Councilmember Gauthier and Kendra Brooks, they introduced the resolution last June to establish the Reparations Task Force. Myself, Rayshawn, many community members of Philadelphia have been advocating for the establishment of a Philadelphia Reparations Task Force for years in the making. So also have to thank our elders from the Philadelphia and Colbert chapter for laying the groundwork and foundation for us to stand on their shoulders to really bring this into fruition. This past November, we opened up applications for the Philadelphia community to apply to join the task force in 7 coordinator roles. And so we launched in May with our coordinators, and we had our first town hall this past Saturday, and we're so excited to begin to organize with the community. And so the task force is mandated with the charge of thinking of creative, strategic ways to address the past harms that have been endured by our ancestors, starting with the original crime against our humanity of slavery, the legacies of slavery, which manifested as Jim Crow, redlining, lynching, war on drugs policies, and other discriminatory policies that have harmed Black Philadelphia. And so we're going to be looking at those harms and offering forth reparation proposals that correlates to the harms to try to bring some solutions and eliminate those legacies and really make life for Black Philadelphians better and have us be able to fulfill our full human rights.
Great. Rashan, we understand that reparations are about much more than financial compensation. So that's one of the reasons it's essential that to have this public discussion about the policy that you are running. Can you explain how this initiative hopes to impact all those lives of restored, and why it's crucial to the entire city of Philadelphia beyond those directly restored?
Thank you. And I want to echo everything that Bree just shared. So thank you all for having us, and thank you all for allowing that story to be told right before we got here. So the Philadelphia Reparations Task Force is something that's really important to share, that the root word of reparations is repair. And so the reason why there are so many other coordinator positions are because harm has been caused in the medical industry. Harm has not only just been caused in the economic field, but harm has been caused in the education world. Harm has also been caused in the way that folks are living when it comes to environmental degradation and how healthy our actual water streams are and our air is in our communities directly. Folks were given promises, and those promises were not delivered upon. And so what folks can really expect that are not members of the descendant group is really just an elevated city. And it's really important to recognize all of the brilliance and all the greatness that Black Americans have contributed to the United States. And I think it would be very important for folks to imagine what it would be like if the repairs were made from the war on drugs where we know why that has been the case, and repairs were made from the war on poverty and how that directly targeted folks, and repairs to be made directly from Jim Crow, repairs to be made based on the ways that people are treated in the hospitals, our folks are treated in the hospital. How much could our community actually contribute to the city of Philadelphia as far as our innovation, as far as our technology, as far as our media, as far as our ability to welcome other folks into the city as a World Heritage City? These are some of the ways that folks can really think about how the city can really benefit from reparations being made, which, again, the root word being repair.
Thank you. So, talking about other references that have been before this Philadelphia experience, many communities, in some events you mentioned the Asian community, and other cities, California, for example, in this country are also working on reparation process. Brianna, can you share some examples of these reparations process, and maybe if you as a task force have analyzed some lessons learned about what they already done, or what specifically Philadelphia has as strengths, and we as the city can take advantage of them in order to do our own process, but also a better process for people.
Yes, I would like to say that Rashawn and I have been really blessed in the organizer process to establish the task force, to be able to know different grassroots organizers across the country who were attempting to create task force in their towns, Rashawn was able to connect with Brother Rob Thomas in Asheville, North Carolina. They have the Asheville Reparations Commission. We were able to connect with a sister out of Boston who was essential to create a Boston Reparations Task Force. We were able to connect with a young brother in California who was a part of the UCLA African American Bunch Center, who was laying down the foundation for the community engagement plan and implementing that plan to make sure community voices were included in the task force report coming out of California. So we were able to get really good strategic points and resources and advice on what we can implement here in Philadelphia. And one thing that's really special about Philadelphia is that we have the Philadelphia Slavery Era Business Disclosure Ordinance and financial reparations statement, which requires that banks and financial depositories such as insurance companies who existed during the slavery era, or their predecessor existed during that era, and if they or their predecessor actually profited from the institution of slavery, whether they own enslaved people or held insurance policies on enslaved people, they have to disclose that information to the city, and they also have to provide the city with a financial reparations statement. This hasn't been enforced since it was passed in 2005, but since that's on our books, that's something that can be enforced for the reparation movement that's currently going on in Philadelphia, and that makes us different from the other states and cities across the country who have that similar law, but doesn't require those institutions to actually make a financial reparations statement. So we already have something that we can work with to get it popping.
Fabulous to have good news. Well, finally, Rasham, we know that Reparations Task Force and the process needs too much community engagement.
Yeah.
So take advantage of our Voices audience and please let them know how they can participate, how can they can be more in touch with this process and be part of.
The quickest that folks can go to rep215.com so that they can complete a form where they can get involved in the engagement elements of the Philadelphia Reparations Task Force. What's really important for folks to know is that we need their perspectives, we need their voices, so we need for them to share what repair looks like, we need for them to share what harms they may have experienced, and we need for them to drive this thing where they see that it needs to go.
Thank you so much
Absolutely.
for having here, staying here. Come back to Chinchila.
What a great show tonight. Thank you so much for watching. I am Dr. Chinchila Jonesia, the Queen of Justice. And remember, you can watch this again on YouTube and also on Roku. And follow us on Facebook and also on Instagram. We'll see you next time.